Hello everyone. How are we all tonight? Oops. I'm adjusting my musical beats. So it's exceptionally loud on my side. Wait, there we go. Nice and quiet. Okay. Functional for me. Wow. May you have already redeemed the namaste bitches. Oh no, Ty, you've got a headache. Hey, Miz. May, is there any particular part of your body you would like to stretch, or is this just a getting us in the mood? Because both are acceptable. Get that music beat back up. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Haha. I might make a matcha because yesterday was National Matcha Day and I missed it. All right. Well, May wants to get us all into the Paradise Lost mood with some namaste bitches. So, get your matcha lattes ready in honor of National Matcha Day. Take a deep breath in, hold it for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale. Thinking of how badass Satan is gonna be when he goes into heaven and takes on Gabriel. And then we're gonna breathe in again. And remind ourselves that the lingering lust event in Lads is 2 weeks and we don't need to R3 everyone in the first week. And fuck Carter, yeah. Just give that fuck Carter vibes. Just want that through you. Just one more time. Fuck Carter. And that should hopefully help you get your gentlemanly pulls. At least I'm hoping. Yeah, I'm saving. I have no desire to pull right now. I have Silas and I have Zane and we're good. For the moment. At least I got wish blocked by an event card and I'm okay with that. So. Dun-dun. Thank you, Shadow. I'm quite the opposite of Mama when it comes to the restraint lineup. It's cool. So, I'm hanging in, Laquan. My sunburn, I am crispy. Mama was a little worried. But it's okay. It's like the very top of my shoulders. Sucks wearing a bra, but that's okay because I can just move it over. The restraint was out the damn window, Shadow. That's okay. It's okay. I just repeat to myself it's a video game with pixelated men and the game is rigged, and thus, if I play the game, as in the rigged game, the men will come home to me. That's how I kind of do it. And also, I'm pretty sure Executive Tutorial is next, and I think Laquan and I will die if it is. Because and Frost, we're gonna have our little pool playing homie. So, we are on book 5 of Paradise Lost. Yes, and which means Paradise Lost is 12 books, so we're almost at the halfway point. This lovely episode involves a few angelic visits, but if you want to prepare yourselves, you should look up William Blake's engraving for this chapter, which is Raphael. I believe it's Raphael and Adam and Eve. Let me look at the official name of it for you if you just want to have that experience at home. Raphael with Adam and Eve, yes. That is the Blake engraving for this chapter, so you can check it out. Ooh. Hey, it's okay, Ms. Credit scores are tricky things. So we're going to read tonight. The Cozy Soundboard is on. The Cozy Cat Cafe is open on Twitch, as well as the Cozy Drink Cafe regularly. One has bits, one does not. There are Streamleads cards, but they're mostly memes, which I don't use on nights like this, so that, we can just kind of chill the fuck out. Remember, the goal is to get rid of your Sunday scaries, to be kind of chill and awesome and not really give a fuck. All channel rewards are up, though, so you can have a little fun. with yourself so you don't have to worry. So if you want me to do goofy things like Cherub Staten or there is Stacy for marketing is one of my channel rewards. Just letting you know. Otherwise, come, enjoy, tell your friends, chill the fuck out. I'm waiting for Mama to come on a little bit because she was playing Final Fantasy 15 with me and just fucking ruined it. And she's, oh no, god damn it. I hate you. Final Fantasy 15, the Brotome game, or where two daddies take their twinks for a walk, as Mama likes to call it. Tomodachi Life. So good. Elementi's here as well. It's Elemental, but I like calling you Elementi. Fuck you in that trophy shot. Fucking poor Prompto, man. Why are you so mean to Prompto? Oh, it's not his fault. It's not his fault. Alright. No mercy is exactly what he tells after fucking Prompto in and in. Okay, I am going to just move on now to reading about various angelic devilish things. If you have questions, feel free to stop me. This chapter is only about 900 lines. So this book, so we might get through it a little faster. If we do, I might do it. Otherwise, I'm going to read the lovely opening known as The Argument, which is written in mostly plain English, and then we'll get into the epic poem, which might be, Daddy Lucifer does want you to throw off your shackles. One day we'll tell the Rebellion story, which is actually related to Kingdom Hearts of all games. All right. So, without further ado, and Mama's interruption, I know somebody's gonna do Stacy for marketing on somebody's voice, and it's gonna be hilarious. Oh, we are getting epic. Okay, so here's the argument for book 5. Morning approached. Eve relates to Adam her troublesome dream. He likes it not, yet comforts her. They come forth to their day labors, their morning hymn at the door of the bower. God, to render man inexcusable, sends Raphael to admonish him of his obedience, of his free estate, of his enemy near at hand, who he is, and why his enemy, and whatever else may avail Adam to know. Raphael comes down to paradise, his appearance described, his coming discerned by Adam afar off, sitting at the door of his bower. He goes out to meet him, brings him to his lodge, entertains him with the choicest fruits of paradise. Got together by Eve, their discourse at table. Raphael performs his message, minds Adam of his state and of his enemy, relates at Adam's request who that enemy is and how he came to be, beginning from his first revolt in heaven and the occasion thereof, how he drew his legions after him to the parts of the north, and there incited them to rebel with him, persuading all but only Abdiel, a seraph, who in argument dissuades and opposes him, then forsakes him. All right. You can't listen to this, Mama. Your brain's still in horny jail. I mean, we got two mortals who are totally buck naked. You got Satan from below, Raphael from above. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great. Get your horny jail on. And this is Raph with the PH, y'all. Thank you, Miz. I need you. And just a quick sound check before I go into epic poetry. Is it epic enough? Are we good? Is everyone okay? Ooh, I'm checking with my little... Hang on. Gotta double check my cute and cuddly little... Are we feeling cozy or are we feeling wacky? That's how I feel towards Mama. But if audio is good, we shall begin our 900 lines of epic poetry. Oh, and Shadow, I would love a before picture from when you start your crocheting to what it ends at. I'm not reading that out loud, Mama. I'm just gonna let that sit on the chat. Men do get weird when they're pent up. Like they write epic poetry like this. Okay. Everyone, let's get cozy. Let's chill. Let's find out what the fuck is going on in paradise. And now I must do epic narrator. Oh yes, if anyone else needs like motive for doing laundry, dishes, whatever, I got you. It's already Cherub Satan. I haven't even started the first 5 lines, mama. Oh, God. Actually, it's good. I will do Cherub Satan through the narration portion, and then we'll change it up, okay?
Fucking hate you, mama. Now morn, her rosy steps in the eastern clime advancing, sowed the earth with orient pearl when Adam waked. So customed for his sleep was airy light, from pure digestion bred and temperate vapors bland, which the only sound of leaves and fuming rills, Aurora's fan lightly dispersed, and the shrill matin song of birds on every brow, so much the more his wonder to find unawakened Eve, with tresses discomposed and glowing cheek.
That's all you get. I can't do 100 lines like that. That's fucking terrible. Oh. And through unquiet rest, he on his side, leaning half raised, with looks of cordial love, hung over her enamored, and beheld beauty, which, whether waking or asleep, shot forth peculiar graces. Then, with voice mild as with Zephyrus on Flora breathes, her hand soft touching, whispered thus, "Awake, my fairest, my espoused, my latest found, heaven's last best gift, my ever-new delight calls her awake. The morning shines and the fresh field calls us. We lose the prime to mark how spring our tended plants, how blows the citron grove, what drops the mirth, and what the balmy reed, how nature paints her colors, how the bee sits on the bloom extracting liquid sweet." Such whispering waked her, but with startled eye on Adam, whom embracing thus she spake. "Lady Chatley's lover, Miz, I could do it for you. Might take me a couple tries. O soul, in whom my thoughts find all repose, my glory, my perfection, glad I see thy face the morn returned. For I, this night, such night till this I never passed, have dreamed, if dreamed not as oft I am wont, of thee, works of day past, of morrow's night design, but of offence and trouble which my mind knew never till this irksome night. Methought close at mine ear one called me forth to walk with gentle voice. I thought it thine. It said, "Why sleepest thou, Eve? Now, in the pleasant time, the cool, the silent, save where silence yields to the night-wandering bird, and now awake, tunes sweetest his love-labored song. Now reigns full-orbed the moon, and with more pleasing light shadowy sets off the face of things. In vain, in none regard. Heaven wakes with all his eyes. Whom to behold but thee, nature's desire? In whose sight all things joy, with ravishment attracted by the beauty still to gaze. I rose as at thy call, but found thee not. To find thee I directed then my walk, and on, methought, alone I passed through ways that brought me on a sudden to the tree of indirected knowledge. Fair it seemed, much fairer to my fancy than by day, and as I wondering looked, beside it stood one shaped and winged, like one of those from heaven, by us oft seen. His dewy locks distilled ambrosia. On that tree he also gazed, and, "O fair plant," said he, "with fruit surcharged, deigns none to ease thy load and taste thy sweet? Nor God, nor man? Is knowledge so despised? Or envy, or what reserve forbids to taste? Forbid who will, none shall from me withhold longer thy offered good. Why else set here? This said, he paused not, but with venturous arm he plucked, he tasted. Me damp horror chilled at such bold words, vouched with a deed so bold, but he thus overjoyed. O fruit divine, sweet of thyself, but much more sweet thus cropped, forbidden here. It seems as only fit for gods, yet able to make gods of men. And why not gods of men, since good the more communicated, more abundant grows, the author not impaired, but honored more? Here, happy creature, fair angelic Eve, partake thou also. Happy thou art, happier thou mayest be, worthier canst not be. Take this, and be henceforth among the gods, thyself a goddess, not to earth confined, but sometimes in the air, as we sometimes ascend to heaven, by merit thine, and see what life the gods live there, and such live thou. So saying, he drew nigh, and to me held, even to my mouth of that same fruit held part which he had plucked. The pleasant, savory smell so quickened appetite that I, methought, could not but taste. Forthwith up the clouds with him I flew, and underneath beheld the earth outstretched immense, a prospect wide and various, wondering at my flight and change to this high exultation. Suddenly my guide was gone, and I, methought, sunk down or fell asleep, but oh, how glad I waked to find this but a dream. Thus Eve her night related, and thus answered Adam, sad. Catching up on the commentary. Interesting. All right. Sorry, I was taking a sip. Best image of myself and dearer half. The trouble of thy thoughts this night in sleep affects me equally, nor can I this uncouth dream of evil sprung, I fear. Yet evil whence? In thee can harbor none, created pure, but know that in the soul are many lesser faculties that serve reason as chief. Among these fancy next her office holds, of all external things which the 5 watchful senses represent. She forms imaginations, airy shapes, which reason, joining or disjoining, frames all what we affirm or what deny, and call our knowledge or opinion, then retires into her private cell when nature tests. Oft, in her absence mimic fancy wakes to imitate her, but misjoining shapes wild work produces oft, and most in dreams, all ill-matching words and deeds long past or late. Some such resemblances methink I find of our last evening's talk in this thy dream, but with additions strange, yet be not sad. Evil into the mind of God or man may come and go, so unapproved, and leave no spot to blame behind, which gives me hope that what in sleep thou didst abhor to dream, waking thou never wilt consent to do. Be not disheartened then, nor cloud these looks that want to be more cheerful and serene than when fair morning first smiles on the world. And let us to our fresh employments rise, among the groves, the fountains, and the flowers that open now their choicest bosoms smells, reserved from night and kept for thee in store. So cheered he his fair spouse, and she was cheered, but silently a gentle tear let fall from either eye, and wiped them with her hair. 2 other precious drops that ready stood, each in their crystal sluice, he ere they fell kissed, as the gracious signs of sweet remorse and pious awe that feared to have offended. Jesus Christ, like literally we're like day 2 in Eden, and it's like, the birth of guilt. Love that for humanity. And then they blame a woman. So all was cleared, and to the field they haste, but first from under shady arborous roof, soon they forth were come to open sight of dayspring, and the sun, who scarce uprisen, with wheels yet hovering over the ocean brim, shot parallel to the earth his dewy ray, discovering in wide landscaped all the east of paradise and Eden's happy plains. Lowly they bowed adoring, and began their orisons, each morning duly paid in various style. For neither various style nor holy rapture wanted they to praise their Maker, in fit strains pronounced or sung unmeditated. Such prompt eloquence flowed from their lips in prose or numerous verse, more tunable than needed lute or harp to add more sweetness. And thus they began. These are thy glorious works, parent of good, almighty. I feel like I need to do this as Stacy from marketing, because I have a real hard time doing the whole humans praising God thing. And I'm catching up on the chat. Hi, Levi. Happy Sunday. Do we want Stacy from marketing to make an appearance as I get some water? Oh, Ellie. Oh, sorry. I am reading so many things at once. I did not see it. Let's see. Oh, Charter did Ellie for marketing. Okay, got it. Oh, you are just in time for Stacy for marketing. It's cool. So, thus humans have awoken, talked about Eve's like messed up dream. Hey, Kara. And now we are talking about, oh, it's okay, it was a dream. You'd never eat from the fruit. And she's like, okay, guilt, tears, and now they're gonna go praise God before they get to work. Thanks, Stitch. I did need to actually hydrate. Okay. While you discuss My Fair Lady, Stacy from marketing shall be praising humans. Hey guys, it's Stacy from marketing, and I just want you to know that, like, today we're gonna talk about praising our great Maker, because that's what we do in the Garden of Eden. So, there are thy glorious works, parent of good, almighty, thine, this universal frame, this wondrous fair, like thyself, how wondrous then, unspeakable, who sittest above these heavens, to us invisible or dimly seen in these thy lowest works. Yet these declare thy goodness beyond thought and power divine. Speak, ye who best can tell, ye sons of light, angels, for ye behold him, and with songs and choral symphonies, day without night, circle his throne rejoicing, ye in heaven. On earth join all ye creatures to extol him first, him last, him midst, and without end. Fairest of stars, last in the train of night, if better thou belong not to the dawn, sure pledge the day, that crownest the smiling morn with thy bright circlet. Praise him in thy sphere whilst day arises, that sweet hour of prime. Thou sun, on this great world, both eye and soul, acknowledging him thy greater, sound his praise. Jesus Christ, they praise him for another fucking 25 lines. Okay. Sorry. Like, oh my God and stuff. In thy eternal course, both when thou climbest and when high noon hast gained, and when thou fallest, moon that now meetest the orient sun, now fliest with thy fixed stars, fixed in their orb that flies, and ye 5 other wandering fires that move in mystic dance, not without being song, resound his praise, who out of darkness called up light, air, and ye elements, the eldest birth of nature's womb, that in quarter union run, perpetual circle, multiform, and mix, and nourish all things. Let your ceaseless change vary to our great Maker still,
new praise.
I have to take a little break. I'm sorry. I know. Stacy from marketing meets Nikki from reading, who goes, Jesus Christ. That's kind of how it feels. That was great timing, Ditch. Jesus Christ, they praise him for 25 more lines. So, oh my God. It's legit. You know, I might take the cozy board off tonight and just put the funny board on, because we've gotten to the fun part where Satan's like, this is classy. And we're gonna do some tempting. And the angels are like, oh my fucking God, really, buddy? Party board's on. Let's do it. Okay, where was I? Where in the praising of nature's womb were we? Oh, yes, from hill to streaming lake, dusky or gray. Now I can just be saucy, Nikki. It's like spamming him. I would have to, if we were spamming the praise me reward on Mama's account, like, I would have to do the voice, like, Mama's, like, lean in dommy mommy voice, which I don't think I have. And, like, it would be, like, really hard to do. So, Stacy from marketing praises you. Oh, God, you're fucking glorious. And it just makes it way easier to read, ironically. Okay. Shall I go back to Stacy in marketing, or shall I continue praising for another 25 lines in regular Nikki voice? Because it is some unhinged udon right now, people. I feel like I'm teaching a class on fucking Paradise Lost, and everyone's like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm having fun. Okay, Shadow. Jesus, okay. It has been confirmed. Okay. No, they're only praising for, like, another, like, 20 lines. That's cool. All right, so till the sun paint you fleecy skirts with gold, in honor of the world's great author rise, whether the deck with clouds, the uncolored sky, or wet thy thirsty earth with falling showers. Rising or falling, still advance his praise. His praise, ye winds, that from four quarters blow. Breathe soft or loud, and wave your tops, ye pines, with every plant. In sign of worship wave. Fountains, and ye that warble as ye flow. Melodious murmurs, warbling tune his praise. Join voices, all ye living souls. Ye birds, that singing up to heaven's gate ascend. Bear on your wings and in your notes his praise, yet that in waters glide, and ye that walk the earth and stately tread or lowly creep. Witness if I be silent, mourn, or even to hill or valley, fountain or fresh shade. Make vocal be my song and taught his praise. Hail, universal Lord, be bounteous still to give us only good. And if the night have gathered aught of evil or concealed, disperse it, bitch, as now light dispels the dark. Sadly, Milton did not write bitch. So prayed they, innocent, unto their thoughts firm peace recovered soon, and wanted calm. On their morning's rituals work they haste, among sweet dews and flowers, where any row of fruit trees over woody reached too far their pampered boughs, and needed hands to check fruitless embracers, or they led the vine to wed her elm. She spoused with him twines her marriageable arms, and with her brings her dower, the adopted clusters to adorn his barren leaves. Them thus employed beheld with pity highs heaven's king, and to him called Raphael, the sociable spirit that deigned to travel with Tobias, and secured his marriage with the 7 times wedded maid. Fun fact, Raphael is one of only 3 angels actually mentioned in the Bible that has been released by the Council of Nicaea II. Fun fact, because the Book of Enoch was cut. Anyway, carrying on. Mom, I'm shocked you didn't clip like 3/4 of that. Raphael, said he, thou hearest what stir on earth. Satan from hell scaped through the darksome gulf, hath raised in paradise, and how disturbed this night the human pair. How he designs in them at once to ruin all mankind. Go, therefore, half this day as friend with friend converse with Adam. In what bower or shade thou findest him, from the heat of noon retired, to respite his day labor with repast, or with repose, and such discourse bring on as may advise him of his happy state. Happiness in his power left free to will, left to his own free will, his will though free, yet mutable. Whence warn him to beware he swerve not too secure. Tell him withal his danger, and from whom. What enemy, late fallen himself from heaven, is plotting now to fall of others from like state of bliss by violence? No, for that shall be withstood, but by deceit and lies. This let him know, lest wilfully transgressing he pretend surprisal, unadmonished, unforewarned. Dude, that's like a dick move from God. Like, hey, Raph, I want you to cruise down and tell Adam what the fuck is going on, so that if he actually does give in to, the great tempter, the dude we had to kick out of heaven, who, kicked off, half of our fucking armies, and then somehow crawled his own ass out of hell, past a couple of gates, convinced sin, chaos, and death to fucking join him. If that homie, who has existed as a human mortal being for, no more than a couple of fucking weeks, and his job is just to pick fucking fruit and flowers, but if he gives in to Satan, fuck him up, because I will cast his ass out, because it will be his fault and his free will to transgress. Go fuck yourself. Okay, I'm good. Too late to go. Jesus Christ, they praise him. Yes. All right. Yes, when in high school you heard Raphael, you would think Ninja Turtles, and now you think it's the Raph from Lats. I would have been an amazing English teacher. Fuck that, it's your free will. I'm not gonna give you any help, but if you transgress, you're gonna get transgressed with a fucking apple up your ass, and not in the way Caleb likes. So, I am displeased. I have a hard time reading this book. I have thoughts. I have many thoughts and feelings. So spake the eternal Father, and I read Paradise Lost from the perspective of Satan. If you're wondering, that's basically Satan got a hold of the book and was like, gather round, kids, you want to hear story time? He's got a pack of cigarettes and a fucking bar, fear me, bitch. Alright, ad break ends in a minute. Okay, we're back. Also, before we carry on, there's someone who has joined us. Hello, friend. Do you want to say hello to your people? You must purr. I know, they're waiting for you. Are you just booping it? Oh, you're just snuggling. There it is. There's the purrs. I know. You like Stacy from marketing. Hi. I know, snuggle. This is not a real cogent reading tonight. It's full of interruptions. But a lot of story plot explained. Okay. Henry has decided to snuggle. We can get him to purr more. Okay. So spake the eternal Father, and fulfilled all justice, my ass, nor delayed the winged saint after his charge received, but from among thousand celestial orders, where he stood veiled with gorgeous wings, upspringing light, flew through the midst of heaven, the angelic choirs on each hand parting, to his speed gave way through all the imperial road, till at the gate of heaven arrived. The gate self opened wide, like a garage door opener, on golden hinges turning, as by work divine the sovereign architect had framed. From hence no cloud, or to obstruct his sight, star imposed, however small. He sees no unconform to other shining globes. Earth and the garden of God, with cedars crowned above all hills, as when by night the glass of Galileo, less assured, observes imagined lands and regions of the moon, or Pilate from midst the Cyclades, Delos or Samos first appearing, kens a cloudy spot. Down thither prone in flight he speeds, and through the vast ethereal sky sails between worlds and worlds, with steady wing now on the polar winds, then with quick fan winnows the buxom air, till within soar of towering eagles, to all the fowls he seems a phoenix, gazed by all as that sole bird when to enshrine his relics in the sun's bright temple. To Egyptian Thebes he flies. At once on the eastern cliff of paradise he lights, and to his proper shape returns, a seraph winged, 6 wings he wore to shade his lineaments divine. The pair that clad each shoulder broad came mantling o'er his breast with regal ornament. The middle pair girt like a starry zone his waist, and round skirted his loins and thighs with downy gold, and colors dipped in heaven. The third his feet shadowed from either heel from feathered mail, sky-tinctured grain. Like Maya's son he stood and shook his plumes, that heavenly fragrance filled the circuit wide. Straight knew him all the bands of angels under watch, and to his state and to his message high in honor rise. For on some message high they guessed him bound. Their glittering tents he passed, and now is come into the blissful field through groves of myrrh and flowering ordures, cassia, nard, and balm. A wildness of sweets. For nature here wantoned as in her prime, and played at will her virgin fancies, pouring forth more sweet, wild above rule or art, enormous bliss. Him through the spicy forest onward come Adam discerned, as in the door he sat of his cool bower, while now the mounted sun shot down direct his fervid rays to warm earth's inmost womb, more warmth than Adam needs, and Eve within, due at her hour, prepared for dinner savory fruits, of taste to please true appetite, and not disrelish thirst of nectarous draughts, between from milky stream, berry, or grape, to whom thus Adam called. Haste hither, Eve, and worth thy sight behold, eastward among those trees, what glorious shape comes this way moving. Seems another morn risen on mid-noon. Some great behest from heaven to us perhaps he brings, and will vouchsafe this day to be our guest. But go with speed, and what thy stores contain bring forth in poor abundance, fit to honor and receive our heavenly stranger. Well we may afford our givers their own gifts, and large bestow from large bestowed, where nature multiplies her fertile growth, and by disburdening grows more fruitful, which instructs us not to spare. To whom thus Eve, Adam, Earth's hallowed mold of God's inspired small store will serve, where store all seasons ripe for us hangs on the stalk. Save by what by frugal storing firmness gains to nourish and superfluous moist consumes. But I will haste, and from each bough and brake, each plant and juiciest gourd will pluck such choice to entertain our angel guest, as he beholding shall confess that here on earth God hath dispensed his bounties as in heaven. Clipping is so annoying. It's easier on desktop. Thanks, Ditch. I love how Adam's like, hey, bitch. An angel comes and it's too hot outside for me to go fucking deal with this shit. So I gotta say, what up to homeboy? You go and get food. Thanks. Thanks, Adam. Real bro there. So saying, with dispatchful look and haste, she turns, on hospitable thoughts intent with choice to choose for delicacy best. What order so contrived as not to mix tastes, not well joined, inelegant, but bring taste after taste upheld with the kindliest change, bestirs her then, and from each tender stock, whatever earth all-bearing mother yields, in India east or west or middle shore, in Pontus or in the Punic coast, or where Alicius reigned, fruit of all kinds and coat rough or smooth rind, or bearded husk or shell, she gathers, tribute large, and on the board heaps with unsparing hand. For drink the grape she crushes, inoffensive must and meaths from mary a berry, and from sweet kernels pressed she tempers dulcet creams, nor these to hold wants her fit vessel pure, then strews the ground with rose and orders from the shrub unfumed. Meanwhile, our primitive great sire, to meet his godlike guest, walks forth without more train accompanied than with his own complete perfections. In himself, with all his state, just making sure I have the right page number here, more solemn than the tedious pomp that waits on princes, which their rich between long of horses led, and grooms besmeared with gold, dazzles the crowd, and sets them all agape. Nearer his presence Adam, though not awed, yet with submiss approach and reverence meek as to superior nature, bowing low, thus said, Native of heaven, for other place none can than heaven such glorious shape contain, since by descending from the thrones above those happy places thou hast deigned a while to wait, and honor these vouchsafe with us, two only, who yet by sovereign gift possess this spacious ground, in yonder shady bower to rest, and what the garden choicest bears to sit and taste, till this meridian heat be over, and the sun more cool decline. Whom thus the angelic virtude answered mild. And I can hear Mama laughing at me in the background already. Raphael is one of my favorite archangels, and I'm just kind of like thinking of what Miz said, and I'm going, please, I have abs. It's just the vibe I'm getting right now. This is the worst reading of Paradise Lost, everyone. I'm so sorry. It's kind of gone off the rails. I don't know if it's still soothing. Anyway, Adam, I therefore came, nor art thou such created, or such place hast here to dwell, as may not oft invite, though spirits of heaven to visit thee. Lead on then, where thy bower overshades, for these mid-hours till evening rise I have at will. So to thy sylvan lodge they came, that like Pomona's arbor smiled, with flowerets decked with fragrant smells, but Eve, undecked save with herself, more lovely fair than a wood nymph, or the fairest goddess feigned of three that in Mount Ida naked strove, stood to entertain her guest from heaven. No veil she needed, virtue proof, no thought infirm altered her cheek. on whom the angel Hail bestowed the holy salutation used long after to blessed Mary, second Eve. Raphael's cool, but rude. Hail, mother of mankind, whose fruitful womb shall fill the world more numerous with thy sons than with these various fruits the trees of God have heaped this table. Raised of grassy turf their table was, and mossy seats had round, and on her ample square from side to side all autumn piled through spring, and autumn here danced hand in hand. A wild discourse they hold, no fear lest dinner cool, when thus began our author. Heavenly stranger, pleased to taste these bounties, which our nourisher, from whom all perfect good, unmeasured out, descends to us for food and for delight, hath caused the earth to yield unsavory food, perhaps, to spiritual natures. Only this I know, that one celestial Father gives all. To whom the angel, therefore what he gives, whose praise be ever sung, to man in part spiritual, may be of purest spirits be found no ingrateful food, and food alike those pure intelligible substances require, as doth your rational, and both contain within them every lower faculty of sense, whereby they hear, see, smell, touch, taste. Tasting, concoct, digest, assimilate, and corporeal to incorporeal turn. For no, whatever was created needs to be sustained and fed of elements. The grosser feeds the pure earth, the sea, earth and the sea feed air, and the air those fires ethereal, and as lowest, first the moon, whence in her visage round those spots unpurged, vapors not yet into her substance turn, nor doth the moon no nourishment exhale from her moist continent to higher orbs. The sun that lights imparts to all receives from all his ailment recompense in human exaltations, and it even soups with the ocean. Though in heaven the trees of life ambrosial fruitage bear, and vines yield nectar, though from off the boughs each morn we brush mellituous dews, find the ground covered with pearly grain, yet God hath here varied his bounty so with new delights, as may compare with heaven, and to taste, think not I shall be nice. So down they sat, and to the viands fell. Also, this is the page where I get to see the William Blake engraving of Raphael with Adam and Eve, and it's so 1600s Renaissance, and I love it. It's like a little goat in the background. Oh yes, moist continent. The use of moist in this book is, shall we say, moist. Anyway. So he's like, thanks, bros. God gave you more food than we had. Should be tasty. We're gonna, but don't bonk me, bonk Milton. No, we're bonking you. Because according to God, Mama, you've of free will, and with thine free will, Mama, you shall not read these words and put thy evil into thy forehead. Thy moist continent is not that between Silas's legs, but that between that which your eyes see beyond your mind. I think I need to make Milton epic poem a new channel reward. Take thy moist continent home. Ah, fuck. I think we need a dance party. How do we feel about a dance party right now so I can get some oxygen and some hydration? Oh, Jesus. Okay. It's this kind of day. Hang on. I told you, worst reading of Milton. Miz, I think all the boys were after MC's moist continent. That's all I'm saying. What else do we have? In honor of our archangel messenger.
So
Right now.
I do remember. Do you know what time it is? It's been 800 years. Jellyfishes are walking naked. Sea turtles climb trees. Sharks are eating grass for free. And finally you remembered me.
That seemed right. That is exactly the scene. Raphael's like, yeah, bitch, give me that fruit of your moist continent. Sharks eating grass for free is great. I could Milton that speech. Anyway. And to their vinions fell, nor seemingly the angel, nor missed the common gloss of theologians, by with keen dispatch of real hunger and concoctive heat to transubstantiate what rebounds, transpires through spirits with ease, nor wonder if by fire of sooty coal the empiric alchemist can turn, or holds it possible to turn, metals of drossest ore to perfect gold as from the mine. Meanwhile, at table Eve ministered naked, and their flowing cups with pleasant liqueurs crowned. O innocence deserving paradise, if ever then had the sons of God excused to have been enamored at the sight, but in those hearts love reigned, nor jealousy was understood the injured lover's hell. Thus, when with meats and drinks they had sufficed, not burden nature, sudden mind arose in Adam, not to let the occasion pass, given him by his great conference to know of things above this world, and of their being who dwell in heaven, whose excellence he saw transcend his own so far, whose radiant forms define effulgence, whose high power so far exceeded human, and his wary speech thus the imperial minister he framed. Inhabitant with God, now know I well thy favor in this honor done to man, under whose lowly roof thou hast vouchsafed to enter, and these earthly fruits to taste, food not of angels, yet accepted so, as that more willingly thou couldst not seem at heaven's highest feats to have fed, yet what compare? I'm so sorry, May. I'm supposed to be making you sleep. To whom the winged hierarch replied, O Adam, one Almighty is, from whom all things proceed and up to him return, if not depraved from good created all such to perfection. One first matter all, endued with various forms, various degrees of substance, and in things that live of life, but more refined, more spirituous and pure, as nearer to him placed, or nearer tending, each in their several active spheres assigned, till body up to spirit work, and bounds proportion to each kind. So from the root springs lighter the green stalk, from thence the leaves more airy, last the bright consummate flower, spirits odorous breathes, flowers and their fruit, man's nourishment. By gradual scales sublimed, the vital spirits aspire to animal, to intellectual, give both life and sense, fancy and understanding, whence the soul reason receives, and reason is her being. Discursive or intuitive discourse is oftest yours, the latter most is ours, differing, but in degree, of kind the same. Wonder not then what God for you saw good, if I refuse not, but convert as you to proper substance. Time may come when man with angels may participate, and find no inconvenient diet, nor too light fare, and from these corporeal nourishments perhaps your bodies may at last turn all to spirit, improved by tract of time, and winged ascend ethereal, as we, or may at choice here in heavenly paradises dwell, if ye be found obedient, and retain unalterably confirm his love entire, whose progeny you are. Meanwhile, enjoy your fill, what happiness this happy state can comprehend, incapable of more. Bitch, be happy. Because God has given you things, and if you don't like it, get fucked. That is the translation of Raphael right there. To whom the patriarch of mankind replied, "O favorable spirit, oh, I just have such a hard time. I'm just like, oh my God. If you praise him any harder, literally, your nose is going to be covered in so much shit that the bounty of heaven ain't gonna fucking matter. Anyway, I'm good. Thank you for ordering water for 10 bits. Okay, I got this. To whom the patriarch of mankind replied, "O favorable spirit, propitious guest, well hast thou taught the way that might direct our knowledge and the scale of nature set from center to circumference, whereon in contemplation of created things by steps we may ascend to God. But say, what meant the caution joined, if ye be found obedient? Can we want obedience then to him, or possibly his love desert, whom formed us from the dust and placed us here, full to the utmost measure of what bliss human desires can seek or apprehend?" To whom the angel, "Son of heaven and earth, attend, that thou art happy, O to God, that thou continuest such, O to thyself, that is, to thy obedience. Therein stand. This was that caution given thee, be advised. God made thee perfect, not immutable, and good he made thee, but to persevere he left it in thy power, ordained thy will by nature free, not overruled by fate, inextricable or strict necessity, nor our voluntary service he requires, not our necessitated. Such with him finds no acceptance, nor can find, for how can hearts not free be tried whether they serve willingly or no? Who will but what they must by destiny, and can no other choose? Myself and all thy angelic host that stand in sight of God enthroned, our happy state hold, as you yours, while our obedience holds on other surety none. Freely we serve because we freely love, as in our will to love or not, and this we stand or fall, and some are fallen, to disobedience fallen. And so from heaven to deepest hell, oh, fall from what high state of bliss into what woe." To whom our great progenitor, "Thy words attentive, and with more delighted ear divine instructor, I have heard, than when cherubic songs by night from neighboring hills aerial music send. Not knew I not to be both will and deed created free, yet that we never shall forget to love our Maker and obey him, whose command single is yet so just. My constant thoughts assured me, and still assure, though what thou tellest hath passed in heaven, some doubt within me move, but more desire to hear, if thou consent, the full relation, which must needs be strange, worthy of sacred silence to be heard, and we have yet large day, for scarce the sun hath finished half his journey, and scarce begins his other half in the great zone of heaven." Thus Adam made request, and Raphael, after short pause assenting, thus began. Oh shit, y'all. "High matter thou enjoinest me, O prime of men, sad task and hard. For how shall I relate to human sense the invisible exploits of warring spirits? How, without remorse, the ruin of so many glorious ones and perfect while they stood? How last unfold the secrets of another world, perhaps not lawful to reveal? Yet for thy good this is dispensed, and what surmounts the reach of human sense I shall delineate so, by likening spiritual to corporeal forms, as may express them best. Though what if earth be but the shadow of heaven, and things herein each to the other like more than on earth is thought? As yet this world was not, and chaos wild reign. Where these heavens now roll, where earth now rests upon her center poised, when, on a day, for time, though in eternity applied to motion measures all things durable by present, past, and future, on such day as heaven's great year brings forth, the imperial host of angels, by imperial summons called innumerable before the almighty throne, forthwith from all the ends of heaven appeared, under their hierarchs and orders bright, 10,000 thousands ensigns high advanced, standards and gonfalons twixt van and rear stream in the air, and for distinction serve of hierarchies, of orders and degrees, or in their glittering tissues bear emblazoned holy memorials, acts of zeal and love recorded eminent. Thus, when in orbs of circuit inexpressible they stood, orb within orb, the Father infinite, by whom in bliss embosomed sat the Son, amidst, as from a flaming mount, whose top brightness had made invisible, thus spake. Hear, all ye angels, progeny of light, thrones, dominations, princedoms, virtues, powers. Hear my decree, which unrevoked shall stand. This day I have begot whom I declare my only son, and on this holy hill him have anointed. Him ye now behold at my right hand. Your head I him appoint, and by myself have sworn to him shall bow all knees in heaven, and shall confess him Lord. Under his great vigilant reign abide united as one individual soul, forever happy. Him who disobeys, me disobeys, breaks union, and that day cast out from God, and blessed vision falls into utter darkness, deep engulfed, this place ordain, without redemption, without end. So spake the Omnipotent, and with his words all seemed well pleased. All seemed, but were not all. That day, as other solemn days, they spent in song and dance about the sacred hill, mystical dance, which yonder starry sphere of planets and fixed in all her wheels resembles nearest mazes intricate, eccentric, intervolved, yet regular than most, when most irregular they seem, and in the motion's harmony divine so smooths her charming tones, that God's own ear listens, delighted. Evening now approached, for we have our own evening and morn, we ours for change delectable, not need. Forthwith from dance to sweet repast they turn delirious, desirous, all in circles as they stood. Night, Miss. Tables are set and on sudden plied with angels' food and ruby-neckered flows, in pearl and diamond and massy gold, fruit of delicious vines, the growth of heaven. On flowers reposed, and with fresh flowerets crowned, they eat, they drink, and in communion sweet quaff immortality, and joy secure of surfeit, where full measure only bounds excess, before the all-bounteous King, who showered with copious hand, rejoicing in their joy. Now when ambrosial night with clouds exhaled from the high mount of God, whence light and shade spring both, the face of brightest heaven had changed to grateful twilight, for night comes not there in darker veil. And roseate dews disposed all but the unsleeping eyes of God to rest, wide over all the plain, and wider far than all the globous earth and plain outspread. Such are the courts of gods. The angelic throng, dispersed in bands and files, their camp extended by living streams among the trees of life, pavilions numberless, and sudden reared celestial tabernacles, where they slept, fanned with cool winds, save those who in their coarse melodious hymns about the sovereign throne alternate all night long. But not so waked Satan, so call him now, his former name is heard no more in heaven. He of the first, if not the first archangel, great in power and favor and preeminence, yet fraught with envy against the Son of God that day, honored by his great Father, and proclaimed Messiah, King anointed, could not bear through pride that sight, and thought himself impaired, deep malice thence conceiving and disdain, soon as midnight brought on the dusky hour friendliest to sleep and silence, he resolved with all his legions to dislodge, and leave unworshipped, unobeyed, the throne supreme, contemptuous. And his next subordinate awakening, thus to him in secret spake. Like, oh no, Titch, what did you cut? Sleepest thou, companion, dear? What sleep can close thy eyelids, and rememberest what decree of yesterday so late hath passed the lips of heaven's almighty? Thou to me thy thoughts wast wont. I mine to thee was wont impart. Both waking we were one, how can we now thy sleep dissent? New laws thou seest imposed, new laws from him who reigns. New minds may raise in us who serve, new counsels to debate what doubtful may ensue. More in this place to utter is not safe. Assemble thou of all those myriads which we lead the chief. Tell them that by command, ere yet dame night her shadowy cloud withdraws, I am to haste. And all who under me their banners wave homeward with flying march, where we possess the quarters of the north, there to prepare fit entertainment to receive our king, the great Messiah, and his new commands, who speedily through all the hierarchies intend to pass triumphant and give laws. So spake the false archangel, and infused bad influence into the unweary breast of his associate. He together calls, or several, one by one, the regent powers under him regent, tells as he was taught that the Most High commanding, now ere night, now ere dim night, had disencumbered heaven. The great hierarchical standard was to move, tells the suggested cause, and casts between ambiguous words and jealousies, to sound or taint integrity. But all obeyed the wanton signal and superior voice of their great, for great indeed his name, and high was his decree in heaven. His countenance is the morning star that guides the starry flock, allured them, and with lies drew after him the third part of heaven's host. Meanwhile the eternal eye, whose sight discerns, abusest thoughts from forth his holy mountain, from within the golden lamps that burn nightly before him, saw without their light rebellion rising. Saw in whom how spread among the sons of morn what multitudes were banded to oppose his high decree, and smiling to his only son thus said, Son, thou in whom my glory I behold in full resplendence, Heir to all my might, nearly it now concerns us to be sure of our omnipotence, and with what arms we mean to hold what anciently we claim of deity or empire. Such a foe is rising, who intends to erect his throne equal to ours throughout the spacious north, nor so content hath in his thought to try in battle. What our power is, or our right, let us advise. Unto this hazard draw with speed what force is left, and all employ in our defense, lest unawares we lose this our high place, our sanctuary, our hill. Thank you, Ditch. We're at line 733. We've got 200 more lines. Must drink. To whom the sun, with calm aspect and clear lightning, divine, ineffable, serene, made answer. Mighty father, thou thy foes justly hast in derision, and secure laughest at their vain designs and tumults vain. Matter to me of glory whom their hate illustrates, when they see all regal power given me to quell their pride, and in event know whether I be dexterous to subdue thy rebels, or be found the worst in heaven. So spake the sun, but Satan with his powers far was advanced on winged speed, and host innumerable as the stars of night, or stars of morning, dewdrops, which the sun impearls on every leaf and every flower. Regions they passed, the mighty regencies of seraphim, and potentates, and thrones in their triple degree, regions to which all thy dominion, Adam, is no more than what this garden is to all the earth, and all the sea, from one entire globes stretched into longitude, which, having passed at length into the limits of the north, they came, and Satan to his royal seat high on a hill, far blazing as a mount raised on a mount, with pyramids and towers from diamond quarries hewn, and rocks of gold, the palace of great Lucifer, so call that structure in the dialect of men interpreted, which not long after he, affecting all equality with God, in imitation of the mount whereon Messiah was declared in sight of heaven, the mountain of the congregation called, for thither he assembled all his train, pretending so commanded, to consult about the great reception of their king thither to come, and with culminous art of counterfeited truth thus held their ears. Good night, May. Please retain my resplendent self. Thank you, Ditch. I mean, we just got to a Satan speech. Y'all know how much I love a good Satan speech. I feel like I killed Mama. We whacked her too many times. Satan speech! Okay. Thrones, dominations, princedoms, virtues. In these magnificent tiles yet remain powers not merely titular, since by decree another now hath to himself engrossed all power, and us eclipsed, under the name of King Anointed, for whom all this haste of midnight march and hurried meeting here. This only to consult how we may best, with what may be devised of honors new, receive him, coming to receive from us knee tribute, yet unpaid, protestation vile, too much to one, but doable how endured to one, and to his image now proclaimed? But what if better counsels might erect our minds, and teach us to cast off this yoke? Will ye submit your neck, and choose to bend the supple knee? Ye will not, if I trust to know ye right, and if ye know yourselves, natives and sons of heaven, possessed before by none, and if not equal all, yet free, equally free, for orders and degrees jar not with liberty, but will consist. Who can in reason then, or right, assume monarchy over such as live by right his equals, if in power and splendor less, in freedom equal, or can introduce law and edict on us, who without law err not, much less for this to be our Lord, and look for adoration to the abuse of those imperial titles which assert our being ordained to govern, not to serve. Thus this far bold discourse without control had audience, when among the seraphim Abdiel, than whom none with more zeal adored the deity, and divine commands obeyed, stood up, and in a flame of zeal severe, the current of his fury thus opposed. O argument blasphemous, false, and proud, words which no ear ever to hear in heaven expected, lest of all from thee, ingrate, and place thyself so high above thy peers, canst thou with imperious obliquity condemn the just decree of God, pronounced and sworn, that to his only Son, by right endured, by regal scepter, every soul in heaven shall bend the knee, and in honor do confess him rightful king? Unjust, thou sayest, flatly unjust, to bind with laws the free and equal over equals to let reign, one over all with unsucceeded power. Shalt thou give law to God? Shalt thou dispute with him the points of liberty, who made thee what thou art, and formed the powers of heaven such as he pleased, and circumscribed their being? Yet by experience taught we know how good, and of our good, and of dignity, how provident he is, how far from thought to make us less, bent rather to exalt our happy state, under one head more near, united. But to grant it thee unjust, that equal over equals monarch reign, thyself thou great and glorious, dost thou count, or all angelic nature joined in one equal to him begotten Son? By whom, as by his word, the mighty Father made all things, even thee, and all the spirits of heaven, by him created in the bright degrees, crowned them with glory, and to their glory named thrones, dominions, princedoms, virtues, powers, essential powers, nor by his reign obscured by more illustrious maids, since he, the head, one of our number, thus reduced becomes. His laws our laws, all honor to him done returns our own. Cease then this impious rage, and tempt not these, but hasten to appease the incensed Father and incensed Son, while pardon may be found in time besought. So spake the fervent angel, but his zeal none seconded, as out of season judged, or singular and rash, whereat rejoiced the apposite, and more haughty thus replied, that we were formed then, sayest thou, and the work of secondary hands, by task transferred from father. Absolutely appropriate, Ditch. There be some fucking drama. Where was I? Strange point and new doctrine, which we know whence learned, who saw when this creation was. Rememberest thy making, while the Maker gave thee being? We know no time when we were not as now. Know none before us, self-begot, self-raised by our own quickening power, when fatal course had circled his full orb, the birth mature of this our native heaven, ethereal sons. Our prescience is our own right hand shall teach us highest deeds, by proof to try who is our equal. Then thou shalt behold whether by supplication we intend address, and to begirt the almighty throne beseeching or besieging. This report, these tidings carry to the anointed king, and fly ere evil intercept thy flight. He said, and as the sound of waters deep, hoarse murmur echoed to his words, applause through the infinite host, nor less for that the flaming seraph, fearless, though alone encompassed round with foes, thus answered bold. O alienate from God, O spirit accursed, forsaken of all good, I see thy fall determined, and thy hapless crew involved in this perfidious fraud, contagion spread both of thy crime and punishment. Henceforth no more be troubled how to quit the yoke of God's Messiah. Those indulgent laws will not be now vouchsafed. Other decrees against thee are gone forth without recall. That golden scepter which thou didst reject is now an iron rod to bruise and break thy disobedience. Well, thou didst advise, yet not for thy advice or threats I fly these wicked tents devoted, lest the wrath impotent, raging into sudden flame, distinguish not, for soon expect to feel his thunder on thy head, devouring fire. Then who created thee lamenting learn, when who can uncreate thee thou shalt know. Morning, King. You're welcome. We politely kicked you. Hope your battery survived. So spake the seraph Abdiel, faithful found among the faithless, faithful only he among innumerable false, unmoved, unshaken, unseduced, unterrified. His loyalty he kept, his love, his zeal, nor number nor example with him wrought to swerve from truth or change his constant mind, though single. From amidst them forth he passed, long way through hostile scorn, which he sustained superior, nor of violence feared aught. And with retorted scorn his back he turned on those proud towers to swift destruction doomed. Yay, that is the end of book 5. King, I think you just fall asleep to people reading. So, Raph is chilling with Adam and Eve, telling delicious stories of the fall of Satan, except for the one guy who stood up and thus was like, hey, you should be the one guy to stand up to Satan, Adam, you know, just in case, buddy. So basically book 5 and 6 is the fall in the army. It's okay, King. You can be a sleepy kitty. Let's see here. You've missed some shenanigans, King. I do believe Mama has also fallen asleep, which is fine. And again, if you are following along, in book 6 there are several lovely Blake engravings. However, we will be checking out the downfall of the rebel angels if you would like to look up the engraving in book 6. Book 6 is also... Oh, Pedro. Pedro. I gotta change this to like Satan. Thanks, Frost. I do need a raccoon. I got the best cards. Remember, the party board's open today, as well as I'll do book 6 so we can get through halfway through Paradise Lost. It's only another 900 lines. Capybara. Oh, doubling up. This is my I get water break. Ditch, you got all the good cards. Chat is devoted. I feel like I should read the plain text opening. Chat has devolved and is devoted. The plain text opening argument as Stacy for marketing. Do we need some more Stacy for marketing? Let's do it. All right. I'm just stretching. It's a thick book, y'all. Like my thighs. Alright, hey guys, it's Stacy from Marketing, just back to give you an update on where we are in the start of Book 6. So, Raphael continues to relate how Michael and Gabriel were sent forth to battle against Satan and his angels. The first fight described, Satan and his powers retire under night. He calls a council, invents devilish engines. We love devilish engines. Which, in the second day's fight, put Michael and his angels to some disorder, but they all at length, pulling up some mountains, overwhelmed both the force and machines of Satan. Yet the tumult not so ending, God on the third day sends Messiah his son, for whom he had reserved the glory of victory. He, in the power of his Father, coming to the place and causing all his legions to stand still on either side, with his chariot and thunder driving into the midst of his enemies, pursues them, unable to resist towards the wall of heaven, which, opening, they leap down with horror and confusion into the place of punishment prepared for them in the deep. Messiah returns with triumph to his Father. So, that's Book 6, y'all. Are we fucking ready? Oh, we'll let the quick ad break go. Because guess who joined? Guess who joined? Hey, buddy. You just want some downfall? Yeah. Nice. Good timing, King. This is our second Henry of the evening. Feeling it, buddy? You ready for some downfall of rebellious angels? Yeah. I know how much you love rebellious angels. They're the best. Did you just drool on me? What's going on, buddy? You're a little cat butt. Alright. We're gonna scooch the kitty. Hang on. There we go. All right. Ooh. Henry, they ordered you a hojicha. Just letting you know, kitty. All right. Checking on everybody. Da, 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 da. And then we'll get back to Raphael in just a moment as Raphael continues to tell the story. All right. All night, the dreadless angel, unpursued through heaven's wide champion, held his way till morn, waked by the circling hours with rosy hand, unbarred the gates of light. There is a cave within the mount of God, fast by his throne, where light and darkness in perpetual round lodge and dislodge by turns, which makes through heaven grateful vicissitude, like day and night. Light issues forth, and on the other side of the door, obsequious darkness enters, till her hour to veil the heaven. Though darkness there might well seem twilight here, and now went forth the morn, such as the highest heaven arrayed in gold imperial. From before her vanished night shot through with orient beams, when all the plain covered with thick embattlement squadrons bright, chariots and flaming arms and fiery steeds, reflecting blaze on blaze, first met his view. War he perceived, war in precinct and found already known, what he for news had thought to have been reported. Gladly then he mixed among those friendly powers, who him received with joy and acclamations loud, that one that so many myriads fallen, yet one returned not lost. On to the sacred hill they led him, high applauded, and present before the seat supreme, from whence a voice from midst a golden cloud the smiled was heard. Whomst. I know, it's like whomst, and then they put like whom him and him whom, and I'm like, God damn it. Fucking 17th century epic poetry about God, Christ, free will, and monarchy. Servant of God, well done. Well hast thou fought the better fight. I fucking hate God in this book. Thank you, King. Who single hast maintained against revolted multitudes the cause of truth, and word mightier than in arms, and for the testimony of truth hast borne universal reproach, far worse to bear than violence. For this was all thy care to stand approved in sight of God, through words judged thee perverse. The easier conquest now remains thee, aided by this host of friends. Back to thy foes, more glorious to return than scorned, thou didst depart, and to subdue by force, who reason for their law refuse, right reason for their law, and for their king Messiah, whom by right of merit reigns. Go, Michael, of celestial armies prince, and thou in military prowess next, Gabriel. Lead forth to battle these my sons invincible. Lead forth my armed saints by thousands and by millions, ranged for fight, equal in number to that godless crew rebellious. Then with fire and hostile arms, fearless assault, and to the brow of heaven pursuing, drive them out from God and bliss into their place of punishment, the gulf of Tartarus, which ready opens wide his fiery chaos to receive their fall. Well, we'll have that conversation later, Ditch. There's a reason I'm Shinto. So spake the sovereign voice, and clouds began to darken all the hill, and smoke to roll in dusky wreaths, reluctant flames, the sign of wrath awakened. Nor with less dread the loud ethereal trumpet from on high began blow, and which command the powers militant, that stood for heaven, in mighty quadrate joined of union irresistible, moved on in silence their bright legions to the sound of instrumental harmony that breathed heroic ardor to adventurous deeds. Under their godlike leaders, in the cause of God and his Messiah, on they move, indissolubly firm, nor obvious hill, nor straightening vale, nor wood, nor stream divides their perfect ranks. For high above the ground their march was, and the passive air upborne their nimble tread. And when the total kind of birds in orderly array on wing came, summoned over Eden to receive their names of thee, so over many a tract of heaven they marched, and many a province wide, tenfold the length of this terrene. At last, far in the horizon to the north appeared from skirt to skirt a fiery region, stretched in battleless aspect, and nearer view bristled with upright beams innumerable of rigid spears, and helmets thronged, and shields various, with boastful argument portrayed the banded powers of Satan, hastening on with furious expedition. And they weened that self-same day, by fight or by surprise, to win the mount of God, and on his throne to set the envier of his state, the proud aspirer. But their thoughts proved fond and vain in the midday. Though strange to us it seemed at first that angels should with angel war, and in fierce hosting meet, who want to meet so often festival of joy and love unanimous as sons of one great sire, hymning the eternal Father. But the shout of battle now began, and rushing sound of onset ended soon each milder thought. High in the midst exalted of God, the apostate in the sun-bright chariot sat, idol of majesty divine, enclosed with flaming cherubim and golden shields. Then, lighted from his gorgeous throne, for now twixt host and host but narrow space was left, a dreadful interval. And front to front presented stood in terrible array of hideous length. Before the cloudy van, on the rough edge of battle ere it joined, Satan, with vast and haughty strides advanced, came towering, armed in adamant and gold. Abdiel the sight endured not, where he stood among the mightiest bent on highest deeds, and thus his own undaunted heart explores. O heaven, that such resemblance of the highest should yet remain where faith and reality remain not. Wherefore should not strength and might there fail where virtue fails, or weakest prove where boldest, though to sight unconquerable? Trusting in the almighty aid, I mean to try, though whose reason I have tried unsound and false. Nor is it aught but just that he who in debate of truth hath won should win in arms in both disputes alike victor, though brutish that contest and foul. When reason hath to deal with force, yet so most reason is that reason overcome. So pondering, and from his armed peers forth stepping opposite, halfway he met his daring foe. At this prevention more incest, and thus securely him defied. Proud art thou met? Thy hope was to have reached the height of thy aspiring, unopposed the throne of God, unguarded and his side abandoned, at the terror of thy power or potent tongue? Fool, not to think how vain against the omnipotent to raise arms, who out of smallest things could without end have raised incessant armies to defeat thy folly, or with solitary hand, reaching beyond all limit, at one blow unaided could have finished thee and whelmed thy legions under darkness. But thou seest all are not of thy train. There be who faith prefer and piety to God, though then to thee not visible. When I alone seemed in thy world erroneous to dissent from all, my sect thou seest. Now learn too late how few sometimes may know when thousands err. Whom the grand foe with scornful eye askance thus answered: Ill for thee, but in wished hour of my revenge first sought for, thou returnest from flight, seditious angel, to receive thy merited reward. The first essay of this right hand provoked, since first that tongue, inspired with contradiction, durst oppose a third part of the gods, in synod met their deities to assert, whom while they feel vigor divine within them, can allow omnipotence to none. But well thou comest before thy fellows, ambitious to win from me some plume, that they success may show destruction to the rest. This pause between, unanswered lest thou boast, to let thee know. At first I thought that liberty and heaven to heavenly souls had been all one. But now I see that most through sloth had rather serve, ministering spirits, trained up in feast and song, such how thou'st armed the ministries of heaven, servility with freedom to contend, as both their deeds compared this day shall prove. To whom in brief thus Abdiel stern replied: Apostate, still thou errest, nor end wilt find of erring. From the path of truth remote, Unjustly thou depravest it with the name of servitude, to serve whom God ordains, or nature, God and nature bid the same, when he who rules worthiest and excels them whom he governs. This is servitude, to serve the unwise, or him who hath rebelled against his worthier, as thine now serve thee, thyself not free, but to thyself enthralled. Yet lewdly therest are ministering upbraid. Reign thou in hell thy kingdom. Let me serve in heaven God ever blessed, and his divine behests obey, worthiest to be obeyed. Yet chains and hell, not realms expect. Meanwhile from me returned, as erst thou saidst, from flight this greeting on thy impious crest receive. So saying, a noble stroke he lifted high, which hung not, but so swift with tempest fell of the proud crest of Satan, that no sight nor motion of swift thought less could his shield such ruin intercept. 10 paces huge he back recoiled, the 10th on bended knee, his massy spear upstayed, as if on earth winds underground or waters forcing way sidelong had pushed a mountain from his seat, half sunk with all his pines. Amazement seized the rebel thrones, but greater rage to see thus foiled their mightiest. Ours joy filled, and shout presage of victory and fierce desire of battle. Whereat Michael bid sound the archangel trumpet. Through the vast of heaven it sounded, and the faithful armies rung Hosanna to the highest. Nor stood at gaze the adverse legions, nor hideous joined the horrid shock. Now a storming fury rose, and clamors such as heard in heaven till now was never. Arms on armor clashing brayed horrible discord, and the maddening wheels of brazen chariots raged. Dire was the noise of conflict. Overhead the dismal hiss of fiery darts and flaming volleys flew, and flying vaulted either host with fire. So under fiery cope together rushed both battles main, with ruinous assault and inextinguishable rage. All heaven resounded, and had earth been then all earth, had to her center shook. What wonder, when millions of fierce encountering angels fought on either side, the least of whom could wield these elements and arm him with the force of all their regions. How much more of power army against army, numberless to raise dreadful combustion, warring, and disturb, though not destroy, their happy native seat? Had not the ethereal king omnipotent from his stronghold of heaven have overruled and limited their might, though numbered such as each divided legion might have seemed a numerous host in strength, each armed hand a legion, led in fight, yet leader seemed each warrior single as in chief, expert when to advance or stand or turn the sway of battle open, when to close the ridges of grim war. No thought of flight, none of retreat, no unbecoming deed that argued fear. Each on himself relied, as only in his arm the moment lay of victory. Deeds of eternal fame were done, but infinite, for wide was spread that war, and various, sometimes on firm ground a standing fight, then soaring on main wing, tormented all the air. All air seemed then conflicting fire. Long time in even scale the battle hung, till Satan, who that day prodigious power had shown, and met in arms no equal, raging through the dire attack of fighting seraphim confused, at length saw where the sword of Michael smote and felled squadrons at once. With huge two-handed sway brandished aloft, the horrid edge came down, wide wasting. Such destruction to withstand he hasted, and opposed the rocky orb of 10-fold adamant, his ample shield a vast circumference. At his approach, the great archangel from the warlike toils raced, and glad, as hoping here to end intestine war in heaven, the arch foe subdued, or captive dragged in chains, with hostile frown and visage all inflamed, first thus began. There is an ad in progress, and I am taking a water break before we hear Michael get his shit on. How we doing, everybody? Exactly. I mean, we're 260 lines in and more. I do love the Pedro card. Ooh, Kara, dinner sounds delicious. I should do that after this. But what will I eat? Okay. I'm going to take a quick little pause momentarily with the beats. I will be right back, because I get to run to the bathroom. Yay. Maybe Henry will come dance party. The kitty is staring at me from across the laptop. Like, hello, mother. Mama and I were joking that we've never been more hydrated in our life until we started, like, streaming. All right. Let us continue with our beautiful favorite archangel with warlike toil, aka Michael. This is a name that I want. Author of Evil. Oh, Davina, my skin would be glowing, except if, like, it wasn't red like a goddamn lobster. Anyway, back to being an author of evil. Ha ha ha. Author of evil, unknown till thy revolt, unnamed in heaven, now plenteous, and thou seest these acts of hateful strife, hateful to all, though heaviest by just measure on thyself and thy adherents. How hast thou disturbed heaven's blessed peace, and into nature brought misery, uncreated, till the crime of thy rebellion? How hast thou instilled thy malice into thousands, once upright and faithful, now proved false? But think not here to trouble holy rest. Heaven casts thee out from all her confines. Heaven, the seat of bliss, brooks not the works of violence and war. Hence then, and evil go with thee along, thy offspring, to the place of evil, hell, thou and thy wicked crew. There mingle broils ere this avenging sword begin thy doom, or some more sudden vengeance, winged from God, precipitate thee with augment pain. What was that, Pipsqueak? So spake the Prince of Angels, to whom thus the adversary: Nor think thou with wind of airy threats to awe whom yet with deeds thou canst not. Hast thou turned the least of these to flight or if to fall, but that they rise unvanquished, easier to transact with me than thou shouldst hope in Paris with these threats to chase me thence? Err not, that so shall end the strife which thou callest evil, but we style the strife of glory, which we mean to win, or turn this heaven itself into the hell thou fablest. Here, however, to dwell free, if not to reign, meanwhile thy utmost force, and join him named Almighty to thy aid, I fly not, but have sought thee far and nigh. They ended parle, and both addressed for fight unspeakable, for who, though with the tongue of angels can relate to what these things liken on earth conspicuous, that may lift human imagination to such height of godlike power? For like as gods they seemed, stood they or moved in stature, motion, arms, fit to decide the empire of great heaven. Now waved their fiery swords, and in the air made horrid circles. Two broad suns their shields blazed opposite, while expectation stood in horror. From each hand with speed retired, whereas the thickest fight, the angelic throng, and left large fields unsafe within the wind of such commotion, such as to set forth great things by small, if nature's concord broke among the constellations, war were sprung. Two planets rushing from aspect malign, fiercest opposition in mid-sky should combat, and their jarring spheres confound. Together both with next to the almighty arm uplifted eminent, one stroke they aimed that might determine and not need repeat, as not of power at once nor odds appeared in might or swift prevention. But the sword of Michael from the armory of God was given him tempered so, that neither keen nor solid might resist that edge. And might the sword of Satan with steep force to smite descending, and half cut sheer, nor stayed, but with swift wheel reverse, deep entering, shard all his right side. Then Satan first knew pain, and writhed him to and fro convolved, so sore the girding sword with discontinuous wound passed through him. But the ethereal substance closed, not long divisible, and from the gash a stream of nectarous humor issuing flowed sanguine, such as celestial spirits may bleed, and all his armor stained erewhile so bright. Forthwith on all sides to his aid was run by angels many and strong, who imposed defense, and while others bore him on their shields back to his chariot, where it stood retired, far from the files of war. There they him laid, gnashing for anguish and despite and shame, to find himself not matchless, and his pride humbled by such rebuke, so far beneath his confidence to equal God empowered. Yet soon he healed, for spirits that live throughout vital in every part, not as frail man in entrails, heart or head, liver or reins, cannot but annihilating die, nor in their liquid texture mortal wound receive, no more than can the fluid air. All heart they live, all head, all eye, all ear, all intellect, all sense. And as they please, they limn themselves, in color, shape, or size assume as likes them best, condense, or rare. Meanwhile, in other parts like deeds deserved memorial, where the might of Gabriel fought, and with fierce ensigns pierced the deep array of Moloch, furious king, who him defied. God damn it, just say whom. 1681. Just fucking say whom. Who him defied, and at his chariot wheels to drag him bound threatened, nor from the Holy One of Heaven refrained his tongue blasphemous, but anon, down cloven to the waist with shattered arms and uncouth pain, fled bellowing. On each wing, Uriel and Raphael, his vaunting foe, though huge and in a rock of diamond armed, vanquished Aldramech and Asmodai, two potent thrones that, to be less than gods, disdained, but meaner thoughts learned in their flights mangled with ghastly wounds through plate and mail, nor stood unmindful Abdael to annoy the atheist crew, but with redoubled blow Ariel and Arioch and the violence of Ramiel, scorched and blasted, overthrew. I might relate thousands and their names eternalized here on earth, but those elect angels, contented with their fame in heaven, seek not the praise of men. The other sort, in might the wondrous and in acts of war, no of renown less eager, yet by doom cancelled from heaven, in sacred memory, nameless in dark oblivion let them dwell. For strength, from truth divided, and from just illaudable, not merits, but dispraise and ignominy. Yet to glory aspires vain glorious, and through infamy seeks fame. Therefore, eternal silence be their doom. Satan is very well spoken. I'm Satan. Taking a little water break. I mean, he does get his Urban Dictionary on with moist continents and all that. Gentle reminder. This is Raphael telling Adam the story of the fall. So do we have, unreliable narrator? Thank you. I'm taking a drink of water and blinking. It's the whole with whom with. And I'm just say whom! God! Ah! It's an epic poem. It doesn't rhyme. It's fine. It's just rhythmic in a certain way. Okay. Whoops. Are we all still with me in this battle of heaven and hell? Well, to be hell. Or is this one of those, I don't know what's happening, but it is kind of soothing, which is also a-okay. Because it is meant to be. Shadow, how goes the crochet? Basically, Michael just cut Lucifer, aka Satan, for the first time. And he's like, oh god, pain! Ah! And then, a bunch of other angels did shit. You're winding yarn so slowly, so slowly. Okay. And Davina, my sunburn's doing better. I'm just slathering aloe on me like a goddamn fucking waterfall. It's fine. I look fantastic. I'm not nearly as clever enough to follow at this point of my life. Basically, yeah, the war has started. Michael sliced into Satan. Satan's like, oh god, I'm not as holy as I thought. And they just pulled him back on the war line. And then, a couple other angels and thrones fell. It was fine. And thus Raphael continues his story. And now their mightiest quelled, the battle swerved, with many an inroad gored, deformed rout entered in foul disorder, all the ground with shivered armor strown, and on a heap chariot and charioteer lay overturned, and fiery foaming steeds what stood recoiled, overwearied, through the faint satanic host defensive scarce, and with pale fear surprised, then first with fear surprised, and sense of pain, fled to such evil brought by sin of disobedience, till that hour not liable to fear or flight or pain, far otherwise, the immovable saints in cubic phalanx, firm, advanced, entire, invulnerable, impenetrably armed. Such high advantages their innocence gave them above their foes, not to have sinned, not to have disobeyed. In fight they stood unwearied, unobnoxious to be pained by wound, though from their place by violence moved. Now, night her course began, and over heaven-inducing darkness grateful truce imposed, in silence on the odious din of war. Under her cloudy covert both retired, victor and vanquished. On the foughten field, Michael and his angels prevalent encamping, placed in guard their watches round. Cherubic wavering fires. On the other part, Satan with his rebellious disappeared far in the dark dislodged. And, void of rest, his potestants to council called by night, and in the midst thus undismayed began. Oh, now in danger tried, now known in arms not to be overpowered, companions dear, found worthy not of liberty alone, too mean pretense, but what we more affect, honor, dominion, glory, renown. Who has sustained one day in doubtful fight, and if one day, why not eternal days? What heaven's Lord has powerfulest to send against us from his throne, and judged sufficient, subdue us to his will, but proves not so, then fallible it seems of future we may deem him, though till now omniscient thought. True is, less firmly armed, some disadvantage we endured in pain till now not known, but known as soon condemned, since now we find this our imperial form incapable of mortal injury, imperishable, and though pierced with wounds soon closing, and by native vigor healed, of evil then so small as easy think the remedy. Perhaps more valid arms, weapons more violent, when next we meet, may serve to better us, and worse our foes, or equal what between us made the odds in nature, none. And other hidden cause left them superior, while we can preserve unhurt our minds, and understanding sound due to search and consultation will disclose. He sat, and in the assembly next upstood Nisroch, of principalities the prime. As one he stood escaped from cruel fight, sore toiled, his riven arms to havoc hewn, and cloudy in the aspect thus answering spake. Deliverer from new lords, leader to free enjoyment of our right as gods, yet hard for gods in too unequal work we find. Against unequal arms to fight in pain, against unpained and passive, from which evil ruin must needs ensue. For what avails valor or strength through matchless quelled with pain, which all subdues and makes remiss the hands of mightiest? Sense of pleasure we may have spare out of life perhaps, and not repine but live content, which is the calmest life, but pain is perfect misery, the worst of evils, and excessive overturns all patience. He who therefore can invent with what more forcible we may offend our yet unwounded enemies, or arm ourselves with like defense, to me deserves no less than for deliverance what we owe. Oh, Levi's playing Pragmatica! I want to see Pragmata. Yay! We'll go over and say hi to Levi when we're done. We only have 500 more lines. We're good. Wherewith too, with look composed, Satan replied, I am here playing with perfect misery with my war machines. Okay. Not uninvented that, which thou aright believest so main to our success I bring, which for us who beholds the bright surface of this ethereous mold wherever we stand, this continent of spacious heaven adorned with plant, fruit, flower, ambrosial, gems, and gold, whose eye so superficially surveys these things, is not to mind from whence they grow deep underground, materials dark and crude. Hi, Iris. Welcome to Satan's speech as they make war machines. of spirituous and fiery spume, till touched with heaven's rays and tempered they shoot forth. So beatus, opening to the ambient light, these in their dark nativity, the deep, shall yield us pregnant with eternal flame, which into hollow engines long and round, thick rammed, at the other bore with touch of fire dilated and infuriate, shall send forth from far in thundering noise among our foes such implements of mischief, and shall dash to pieces and overwhelm whatever stands adverse, that they shall fear we have disarmed the thunderer of his only dreaded bolt. Nor long shall be our labor, yet ere dawn effect shall end our wish. Meanwhile revive, abandon fear, to strength and counsel joined, think nothing hard, much less to be despaired. He ended, and his words their drooping cheer enlightened, and their languished hope revived. The invention all admired, and each how he to be the inventor missed, so easy it seemed once found, which yet unfound most would have thought impossible. Yet haply of thy race in future days, if malice should abound, some one intent on mischief, or inspired with devilish machination, might devise like instrument to plague the sons of men for sin, on war and mutual slaughter bent. For sin, forthwith, from council to the work they flew. None arguing stood, innumerable hands were ready, and the moment up they turned wide the celestial soil, and saw beneath the originals of nature in their crude conception. Sulphurous and nitrous foam they found. They mingled and with subtle art concocted and adjusted. They reduced to blackest grain, and in store conveyed part hidden veins digged up. North hath this earth and trails unlike, of mineral and stone, whereof to found their engines and their balls of missive ruin, part incentive reed provide, pernicious with one touch of fire. So all ere day spring, under conscious night, secret they finished and in order set, with silent circumspection, unespied. Now, when fair morn, orient, and heaven appeared, uprose the victor angels, and to arms they maintained trumpets strung, and in arms they stood of golden panoply, refulgent host, soon banded. Others from the dawning hills looked round, and scouts each coast light arms scour each quarter to descry the distant foe, where lodged, or whither fled, or if for flight, in motion or in halt. Him soon they met under spread ensigns move nigh, in slow but firm battalion. Back with speediest sails Ophiel, of cherubim of swiftest wing, came flying, and in midair aloud thus cried. I feel like it's a cherub, so I have to do cherub Satan. Hang on, I need water to do a cherub Satan. Please hold. Hee hee. Thank God it's only 5 lines.
Arm, warriors, arm for fight, the foe at hand whom fled we thought will save us long pursuit this day. Fear not his flight, so thick a cloud he comes, and settled in his face I see sad resolution and secure. Let each his adamantine coat gird well, and each fit well his helm, gripe fast his orbed shield, borne even or high. For this day will pour down, if I conjecture aught, no drizzling shower, but rattling storm of arrows barbed with fire.
I mean, it's a cherub. I gotta do cherub Satan voice. I will accept a Stacy from marketing request later, if people want to. So warned he them, aware themselves, and soon in order quit all impediment. Instant without disturb, they took alarm, and onward move embattled. When behold, not distant far, with heavy pace the foe approaching, gross and huge, and hollow cube training with devilish enginery, impaled on every side with shadowing squadrons deep to hide the fraud. At interview both stood a while, but suddenly at head appeared Satan, and thus was heard commanding loud, "Vanguard, to right and left the front unfold, that all may see who hate us, how we seek peace and composure, and with open breast stand ready to receive them if they like our overture, and turn not back perverse. But that I doubt. However, witness heaven witness thou anon, while we discharge freely our part, yet who appointed stand. Do you have in charge and briefly touch what we propound, and loud that all may hear." So, scoffing in ambiguous words, he scarce had ended when to right and left the front divided, and to either flank retired, which to our eyes discovered new and strange a triple-mounted row of pillars laid on wheels, for like to pillars most they seemed, or hollowed bodies made of oak or fir with branches lopped and wood or mountain felled. Brass, iron, stony mold had not their mouths with hideous orifice gaped on us wide, protending hollow truce, and at each behind a seraph stood, and in his hand a reed stood waving tipped with fire, while we, suspense collected, stood within our thoughts amused. Not long, for sudden all at once their reeds put forth, and to a narrow vent applied with nicest touch. Immediate in a flame, but soon obscured with smoke, all heaven appeared from those deep-throated engines belched, whose roar emboweled with outrageous noise the air of all her entrails tore, disgorging foul their devilish glut, unchained thunderbolts and hail of iron globes, which on the victorate host levelled, with such impetuous fury smote, that whom they hit, none on their feet might stand, though standing else as rocks, but down they flew by thousands. Angel on archangel rolled. The sooner for their arms, unarmed they might have easily as spirits evaded swift, but quick contraction or remove. But now foul disposition followed, and bout rocked. Now served it to relax their severed flies. What should they do? If on they rushed, repulse repeated, and decent overthrown doubled, would render them yet more despised. And to their foes a laughter, for in view stood ranked of seraphim row after another row, in posture to displode their second tire of thunder, back defeated to return those they worse abhorred. Satan beheld their plight, and to his mates thus his derision called. O friends, why come not on these victors proud? Erewhile they fierce were coming, and when we to entertain them fair, with open front and breast, what could we more? Propounded terms of composition straight, they changed their minds, flew off, and into strange vagaries fell, as they would dance. Yet for a dance they seemed somewhat extravagant and wild, perhaps for joy of offered peace, but I suppose if our proposals once again were heard, we should compel them to a quick result. To whom thus Belial, in like gamesome mood, leader, the terms we sent them were terms of weight, of hard contents, and full of force urged home. Wait, hang on. Damn it. I was wondering if I could do Belial as Stacy for marketing. Would have been kind of funny. He's got a long Speech. Such as we might perceive amuse them all and stumbled many. Who receives them right had need from head to foot well understand, not understood. This gift they have besides, they show us when our foes walk not upright. So they among themselves in pleasant veins stood scoffing, heightened in their thoughts beyond all doubts of victory, eternal might to match with their inventiveness they presumed so easy, and of his thunder made a scorn, and all his host derided, while they stood a while in trouble. But they stood not long. Rage prompted them at length, and found them arms against such hellish mischief fit to oppose. Forthwith, behold the excellence, the power which God hath in his mighty angels placed. Their arms away they threw, and to the hills, for earth hath this variety from heaven of pleasure situate in hill and dale. Light as the lightning glimpse they ran, they flew from their foundations loosening to and fro. They plucked the seated hills with all their load, rocks, waters, woods, and by the shaggy tops uplifting bore them in their hands. Amaze, be sure, and terror seized the rebel host, when coming towards them so dread they saw the bottom of the mountains upward turned, till on those cursed engines triple row they saw them whelmed, and all their confidence under the weight of mountains buried deep, themselves invaded next, and on their heads main promontories flung, which in the air came shadowing, and oppressed whole legions armed, their armor helped their harm, crushed in and bruised into their substance pent, when wrought them pain implacable, and many a dolorous groan, long struggling underneath ere they could wind out of such prison. Their spirits of purest light, purest at first, now gross by sinning grown. The rest in imitation to like arms betook them, and their neighboring hills uptore. So hills amid the air encountered hills, hurled to and fro with joculation dire, that underground they fought in dismal shade, infernal noise. War seemed a civil game to this uproar. Horrid confusion heaped upon confusion rose. And now all heaven had gone to wrack, with ruin overspread. Had not the Almighty Father, where he sits shrined in his sanctuary of heaven secure, consulting to the sum of things, foreseen this tumult, and permitted all, advised, that his great purpose he might so fulfill, to honor his anointed Son, avenged upon his enemies, and to declare all power on him transferred. Whence to his Son, the assessor of his throne, he thus began. It's pretty fucked. The God was like, you built things, and now I will totally just crush you with the hills and mountains of heaven. It's fine. And now he's looking at his son like, hey bro, let's chat. Effulgence of my glory, Son beloved, Son, in whose face invisible is beheld visibly by what deity I am, and in whose hand what by decree I do, second omnipotence. 2 days are past, 2 days as we compute the days of heaven, since Michael and his powers went forth to tame these disobedience. Sore hath been their fight, as likeliest was when two each foes met armed. For to themselves I left them, and thou knowest, equal in their creation they were formed, save what sin hath impaired, which yet hath wrought insensibly, for I suspend their doom. Whence in perpetual fight they needs must last endless, and no solution will be found. War wearied hath performed what war can do, and to disordered rage let loose the reins, with mountains as with weapons armed, which makes wild work in heaven and dangerous to the main. 2 days are therefore past, the third is thine. For thee I have ordained it, and thus far have suffered, that the glory may be thine of ending this great war, since none but thou can end it. And to thee such virtue and grace immense I have transferred, that all may know in heaven and hell thy power above compare, and this perverse commotion thus governed thus, to manifest thee worthiest to be heir of all things, to be heir and to be king by sacred unction, thy deserved right. Go then, thou mightiest in thy father's might, ascend my chariot, guide the rapid wheels that shake heaven's basis, bring forth all my war, my bow and thunder, my almighty arms gird on, and sword upon thy pursuant thigh. Pursue these sons of darkness, drive them out from all heaven's bounds into the utter deep. There let them learn, as likes them, to despise God and Messiah, his anointed king. He said, and on his son with rays direct shone full. He all his father full expressed, ineffably to his face received, and thus the filial Godhead answering spake. I swear to God, if I have to do another 100 lines of praise. It hurts my soul. Okay, the Son of God is not going to become the Stacy of marketing. Okay, guys. I have to. I can't not. Whew. Because it's too funny otherwise. Okay, so now we've gone from Stacy of marketing now to like, we're going to let Stacy's going to cook as the Son of God, okay? Who's going to end this war on day 3. O Father, O Supreme of heavenly thrones, first, highest, holiest, best, thou always seest to glorify thy Son, I always thee. As is most just, this is my glory, account my exultation, and my whole delight, that thou in me, well pleased, declarest thy will fulfilled, in which the fulfill of my bliss, spectre, and power, thy giving, I assume, and gladlier shall reign. When in the end thou shalt be all in all, and I in thee forever, and me in whom all thou lovest, but whom thou hatest I hate, and can put on thy terrors, as I put thy mildness on. Image of thee in all things, and shall soon, armed with thy might, rid heaven of these like rebel to their prepared ill mansion, driven down to chains of darkness, and the undying worm that they just obedience could revolt, whom to obey is happiness entire. Then shall thy saints, unmixed from the impure, far separate, circling thy holy mount, unfeigned hallelujahs to they sing, hymns of high praise, and I among them chief. So said he, over his scepter bowing, rose from the right hand of glory where he sat, and the third sacred morn began to shine, dawning through heaven. Forth rushed with whirlwind round the chariot of paternal deity. He's also a Nepo baby. Just gentle reminder. Paradise Lost 2026. Flashing thick flames, wheel within wheel undrawn, itself instinct with spirit, but conveyed by 4 cherubic shapes, 4 faces each had, wondrous as with stars, their bodies all, and wings were set with eyes. Oh no, you're right stuff, Ramen Frost! With eyes, the wheels of barrel, and carefreeing fires between them, over their heads a crystal firmament, whereon a sapphire throne inlaid with pure amber, and colors of the showery arch. He in celestial panoply, all armed of radiant Urim, work divinely wrought, ascended at his right hand of victory sat eagle-winged. Beside him hung his bow and quiver with 3 bolted thunder stored. Then from about him fierce effusion rolled of smoke and bickering flames, and sparkles dire attended with 10,000 saints. He onward came, far off his coming shone, and 20,000 I their number heard. Oh my God, you can't hallelujah with us. Like, stop trying to make hallelujah happen. Sorry. Sorry, it just came out. He onward came, far off his coming shone, and 20,000 I heard their number. Chariots of God, half on each hand were seen. He on the wings of cherub rode sublime on their crystalline sky, in sapphire throned, illustrious far and wide, but by his own first seen, them unexpected by joy surprised. When the great ensign of the Messiah blazed aloft by angels borne, his sign in heaven, under whose conduct Michael soon reduced his army, circumferenced on either wing, under their head embodied all in one. Before him power divine his way prepared, and at his command the uprooted hills retired, each to his place. They heard his voice and went obsequence. Heaven his wanton face renewed, and with fresh flowers hill and valley smiled. This saw his hapless foes, but stood obdurate to the rebellious fight, rallied their powers insensate, hope conceiving from despair, and heavenly spirits could such perseverance dwell, but to convince the proud what signs avail or wonders move, the obdurate to relent, they hardened more by what might most reclaim, grieving to see his glory. The sight took envy, and aspiring to his height, stood re-embattled fierce by force or fraud, weening to prospect, and at length prevailed against God and Messiah, or to fall in universal ruin last, and now to final battle drew, disdaining flight or faint retreat, when the great Son of God to all his host on either hand thus spake. I've decided that the Son of God is just Stacy for marketing. Stand still in bright array, ye saints. Here stand, ye angels armed. This day from battle rest. Faithful have been your warfare, and of God accepted, fearless of his righteous cause. And as ye received, so have ye done invincibly. But as of this cursed crew, the punishment to the other hand belongs. Vengeance is his, or whose he sole appoints. Number to this day's work is not ordained, not multitude. Stand only and behold God's indignation on these godless, poured by me, not you, but moi. They have despised, yet envied. Against me is all their rage, because the Father, to whom in heaven's supreme kingdom and power and glory appertains, hath honored me according to his will. Therefore, to me their doom he hath assigned, that they may be their wish to try with me in battle, which stronger approves, like they all or I alone against them, since by strength they measure all of other excellence. Please hold. Not amolish, nor care with whom he excels, nor other strife with them do I vouchsafe. Yes, fucking moi, bitches. I was waiting for you to kind of cut that bitch. Just come on, like the son of, like, Nepo baby son of God works really well in this storyline. So spake the son, and into terror changed his countenance, too severe to be held, and full of wrath bent on his enemies. At once the four spread out their starry wings with dreadful shade contagious, and the orbs of his fierce chariot rolled as with the sound of torrent floods, or of numerous host. He on his impious foes right onward drove, gloomy as night. I'm sorry, Frost. I have to get through these last, 100 lines, and then I will give my chapter review of The War in Heaven. I think you will appreciate it. Gloomy as night under his burning wheels, the steadfast Cyprine shook throughout, all but the throne itself of God. Full soon among them he arrived, in his right hand grasping 10,000 thunders which he sent before him, such as in their souls and fixed plagues. They astonished. All resistance lost, all courage down, their idle weapons dropped over shields and helmed heads he rode of thrones, and mighty seraphim prostrate, that wish the mountains now might be again thrown on them as a shelter from his ire. Nor less on either side tempestuous fell his arrows. From the fourfold vistage 4 districts with eyes, and from the living wheels distinct alike with multitude of eyes. One spirit in them ruled, and every eye glared lightning, and shot forth pernicious fire among the accused, that withered all their strength, and of their wanton vigor left them drained, exhausted, spiritless, afflicted, fallen. Yet half his strength he put not forth, but checked his thunder in mid-volley. For he meant not to destroy, but root them out of heaven. The overthrown he raised, and as a herd of goats or timorous flock together thronged, drove them before him thunderstruck, pursued, with terrors and with furies to the bounds and crystal wall of heaven, which opening wide rolled inward, and a spacious gap disclosed into the wasteful deep. The monstrous sight struck with them with horror backward, but far worse urged them behind. Headlong themselves they threw down from the verge of heaven. Eternal wrath burned after them to the bottomless pit. And for those of you playing the home game, you may look up William Blake's etching known as The Downfall of the Rebel Angels. Hell heard the uninsufferable noise. Hell saw heaven ruining from heaven, and would have fled affrighted, but strict fate had cast too deep her dark foundations, and too fast had bound. 9 days they fell. Confounded chaos roared, and felt tenfold confusion in their fall. Through this wild anarchy, so huge a rout enchambered him with ruin. Hell at last, yawning, received them whole, and on them closed. Hell, their fit habitation, fraught with fire unquenchable, the house of woe and pain. Disburdened heaven rejoiced, and soon repaired her mural breach, returning whence it roiled. Sole victor from the expulsion of his foes, Messiah his triumphal chariot turned, to meet him all his saints, who silent stood eyewitnesses to his almighty acts, with jubilee advanced. And as they went, shaded with branching palm, each order bright sung triumphant, and hymn sung victorious King, Son, Heir, and Lord. To him dominion given, worthiest to reign, he celebrated, rode triumphant through mid-heaven into the courts and temple of his mighty Father throned on high, who into glory him received, where now he sits at the right hand of bliss. Thus measuring things in heaven by things on earth at thy request, and that thou mayest beware by what is past, to thee I have revealed what might have else to human race been hid, the discord which befell and war in heaven among the angelic powers, and the deep fall of those too high aspiring, who rebelled with Satan, he who envies now thy state, who now is plotting how he may seduce thee also, from obedience, that with him, bereaved of happiness, thou mayest partake his punishment, eternal misery, which would be all his solace and revenge, as a desperate done against the Most High, thee once to gain companion of his woe. But listen not to his temptations, warn thy weaker, let it profit thee to have heard by terrible example the reward of disobedience. Firm they might have stood, yet fell. Remember, and fear to transgress. And that is the end of book 6. We are halfway through Paradise Lost, my friends. So to sum up today's shenanigans, great, wondrous, naked Eve woke up from a dream where Satan came and was like, hey bitch, try some fruit of life. It's hot. It's delicious. She freaked out, tells Adam. Adam's like, I'm happy that you told me. God goes, yo, Raphael, so you need to go down to Earth and tell Adam what the fuck is happening, because though he has free will and I created him and everything and all of that, there's a clip of this part. If he actually gives in to Satan, it's his bad, and thus I will banish his punk ass. So that's what God has done. So Raphael has been telling this whole story of the fall, because Adam's like, so I feel like you're not telling me everything. I'm going to send my lady friend Eve to go get us some delicious things, and you're going to tell me the lowdown. And basically, Raph, and not these words, goes, so God decided to totally nepo baby his son, and that you are all supposed to be really excited about, worshiping dad's son. Woot woot. And Lucifer goes, yeah, I'm not really into that. I don't feel like that this is how it should roll. And then supposedly the irony being one angel stood up to Lucifer, which was Abdiel, and was like, hey buddy, God is going to be real pissed about it. And who are you to be like, I'm better than everyone, and thus we revolt. So I'm going to head back, tell him you're declaring war. War goes on for 3 days. And then God goes, hey son, since I foresaw all of this and I need you to be Lord of the Nepo babies, I'm going to give you my thunder and all of my immense power and send you out, because 3 days of war is fucking long enough. And I already crushed their war machines, because I'm God and I'm omnipotent, and I already kind of foresaw this happening, but instead of shutting this shit down, I'm just letting it roll so that you, home doggy, can go and everyone will be like, oh my God, Messiah's amazing. He attended the war. He's such a badass. We should worship him. Ah! And then it'll be fine. Okay, you go do that. Okay, buddy? And yeah, so then Messiah goes and does that, pushes everybody out, they all fall, and then Raphael goes, yeah, so basically that's what's going to happen to you if you aren't obedient to God. Adam, just FYI. Okay, cool, okay, thanks, bye. And that's basically what just happened in the last 2 books. Thank you for coming to my English class. I hope it was fun. Woo! And we did 2 books in almost 3 hours. I just finished book 6, sire, and wrapped up the stream, but there's some good clips in the VOD, I think. I have decided that the Son of God is, what did I say, Frost? You had a Nepo baby Son of God, and is spoken about as Stacy from marketing, so it's been very fun. Oh, thank you for listening to my summary. But that's where we're at. Next Sunday we will do book 7. Yep, Nepo baby Son of God. He is a Nepo baby Son of God, legit. You can't sit with us without worshiping me. God. Just get the fuck out. Anywho, Tomorrow's gonna be a fun day of Dishonored, I think. Yep, Mama's playing Dishonored. I'm playing Expedition 33. Don't tell me why I understood Stacy from marketing more easily. She's just so expressive. Do I need... Shadow, do I need to read all of it as Stacy? It's because I changed some of the words out. Oh, you know, it helps. Fucking wah, bitches. Ah, great. I could do it. I feel like no, we have said there's cherubs have a voice. Stacy is, you know, Nepo baby son of God. She's just filling in. There was a couple of cherub Satan moments. It's all good. So Mama and I are streaming tomorrow, Tuesday. Mama is doing our next chapter in Void Side Chats, which I believe we have finally hit Raphael. Are we ending Xavier, Mama, or are we doing Raphael? I can't remember. Cherub Satan and Stacy, son of God. Stacy would be a son of God. Stacy would do it. And, you know, our episode is live. I'll be doing battle and kitty cards on Wednesday as well, especially since we will have a new senior hunt contest. Yay. I know this is supposed to be a really cozy stream, but I apparently kept a few people awake. And I'm so sorry. Stacy from marketing really needs you to get your shit together because I am not putting out another fucking press release about these rebellious angels, okay? Like, oh my God, we have already rebranded him from Lucifer to Satan, and we've kicked them out. We've given them their nice new home in hell. Like, what more can we fucking do, people? That's how Stacy feels. All right. Yes, Void Side Chat is Xavier Chapter 2. And then Battles and Kitties. Otherwise, I do want to say that we have hit, and this is kind of a weird time to say it, but we've hit 500 subscribers, guys, on Love and Chickspace. That's kind of wild. And thank you to everyone who has participated and helped and get us there. So I appreciate you. Kara, I think you're the last man standing on YouTube, as I have one viewer, and I appreciate you. And to the 12 people. Oh, no. No, it's not that Stacy doesn't like the SEO of Raph's story. Raph's story has amazing search engine optimization. His AEM is not great, and he really needs a rebrand. But, yes. Yes, exactly. It's pretty wild. So you're going to probably see us add some monetization things, tiers, all that, y'all who have already... This is what we do now, and I'm scared. So you'll see some stuff kind of popping up. Happy 500. Here's to another 500, and then I will cry. Because I don't know what to do with that. But in the meantime, I will keep reading Paradise Lost. And apparently, I'm trying to go back up to where Ms. and Mama were chatting. Like, what? Do you want me to read The Great Gatsby, Mama? As Stacy from marketing. That would be it. Or Cherub Satan doing Poe. That's all I remember. So happy 500, we did it! And there's more than 50 people on the Discord server, and it's really fucking weird. That's all I gotta say. But we love you all. And it is late for some of you children, or it is early morning from some of you other boylings. Head open, bro. See, I have the fun cards. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining tonight. We'll pick up book 7 next Sunday. I do believe for our raid, I'm going to close out YouTube here. I do believe Levi is streaming Pragmata if we want to check it out. Yeah,